Okay, so now that we've tested the content of the array right here in main, let's go ahead and pass the array again to another function that specializes in printing the content of the array. Okay, so now I'm going to remove these test lines here. They've accomplished their goal. There you have it. And I'm going to go ahead and add another option where option, and this isn't the final version, by the way, so, right now I am just testing things and I need to call a function that will print the product. So I'm going to call it view product. That function doesn't need to necessarily return anything since it will simply step through the array, print its content based on how, what is the size of product count, so we know how far we need to go. So we need two arguments. We need a pointer that points to the data structure array prod, and we need to pass by value the actual count as to how many records do we have in that array. Okay, so that's going to look like this. Void view product. You can name it whatever you want. Just make sure you name your functions in a meaningful way, and usually a verb is a good way to start a function name. So this would be the same thing we did. Notice the pointer notation that I did here. It's going to be very similar to what we just did here. Okay. So again, struct product. This time in asterisk again. PPTR. Again, you can name your pointer anything you want. For me, it's P for product, PTR for pointer. And then an int. This time it's not necessarily count, but I'm going to call it max because that's going to indicate how far I should go with my count. So that means if my option is 2, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call view product, and I'm going to pass prod and prod count. The key here, if you noticed, I will try to keep code consistent in main, especially when you're trying to call functions. Except this one doesn't have to return anything, so I'm just simply calling it. It has a void in front of it, so you don't need any variable equals whatever view product returns. It doesn't return anything. It has a void. Now let's get it to work. Well, we have a pointer pointing to the first address, and we have a max count. So if you have 1 product, great. If you have 0 product, you got nothing. Great. Can we loop based on that? Can we do a for loop based on this max value? Indeed. So we could have int count, or if you want, and call it 0. And then you're going to have a for loop for count. Now, since we're setting it to 0 here, so might as well just say int count, set it to 0 here. You're doing it in a for loop anyway. So count is less than max. Okay, so max is what you're comparing to. So if you had 2 records, you're comparing to 2 records. Well, every time you iterate, you're going to have to increment. And we're going to print the content of this data structure. So, which means the array. Okay, so printf. Okay. We could say name, and then it would be a %s. You could do it this way, or you know what? I'm just going to do this %s /t, and I'll put a $% %.2f /t. /t gives you a tab. And that would be the quantity here, so it's %d /n. Okay, what do we want? I want P, PTR, and dereference to name. Now I'm going to be doing a couple things. So let me just put a curly brace here, open this curly brace. Let me close the curly brace here. I'm going to do a couple things in here. So the block is going to have more than one line. Next is PTR price. So you are dereferencing whatever the pointer is pointing at. Okay? And PTR dereference quantity. Now that's fine. Now this is why I put the curly braces. It's because you need to increment the pointer now. Otherwise you're going to be pointing to the first element anyway. So by moving the pointer, by saying PTR plus plus, what you're saying is PPTR equal PPTR plus 1. By adding 1, you're actually adding a certain number of bytes that is the size of the data structure. Okay, so C saves you from trying to figure out the size of that object derived from that data structure. This is great. Makes it really easy. All you have to do is increment the pointer. Okay. Let's see. Am I missing anything? Yeah. So if I did this, that means I wanted to do a header at the top. So I might as well go ahead and print it. Maybe something like this. Name /t, price /t, quantity. And now let's hope everything lines up nicely. So let's see. We could have also printf, something like this. Voila. /t, just, making it pretty with underlines here. /t, let's do another one. /n this time, just give me a new line. Now let's see how this will behave. Okay, so this part is going to be short. The next part, we're going to do some processing. So we're not there yet. So we want to make sure we can enter products and display them. Well, let's see how this works. Compile and run. Okay, so we're going to add a product. And let's call it Gizmo again. And let's give it a price of $34 and quantity 100. Press any key to continue. I'm back to menu. Let's view it. Let me hit 2. Aha, nicely. Everything lines up nicely. Let's go ahead and add another product. So let me just go ahead and add another product. Toy. Let's say the toy is 12.56. And I got 10 of those. All right, well, let's view again. Fantastic. Everything lines up. Okay. So the next video, we will handle the actual processing through a purchase. So that means that will reduce our quantity. And then when we view again, then our quantity should be updated. This gives us a good chance to manipulate existing data that we have inside of an array.